do, 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 do. Do, do, do.
So, sex robot, here we are, 10 years later. What have we learned from this?
You can hang a robot by the neck, you know,
And it'll die.
cuts off the circulation. And, you know.
Yeah, they can't breathe anymore.
Yeah.
The funniest part of that sketch is just how Darren wears his police hat. He looks like a little kid, like looking like.
Oh, 'cause that's like, wait, yeah.
Police officers never look good in their hats. Have you noticed that? Like, I've never seen a police officer that can pull off the hat. They always look oversized. Like,
Steve Gutenberg.
He's not a real police officer.
Oh.
Yeah, you missed the point of.
Who was in the robot outfit? I think I was supposed to be in the robot outfit for like an hour, and I bailed. And then Clayton, the intern, was in it, right, for the rest of the thing.
yeah, well, Clayton was in it for 90% of the sketch. But, like, Zach, the idea was Zach was going to be the robot for Sex Robot. And then we got out there, and the first shot we did was that one on the street. Like, the far shot, the wide shot of the dancing.
Was that me?
Yeah, that was you. The wide shot of dancing is you. And you got in there, and you basically went for like a couple minutes, and then you were like, it's too hot, I'm not doing this.
It's kind of like that sketch with the falling ladies where I had a freak out. I was like, I don't want to be covered in blood.
Yeah, but I remember it's a conversation where you're like, I'm not doing this. And you're like, well, someone needs to be the sex robot in the sex robot sketch. And so then we had an intern named Clayton, and he ended up being the sex robot for the remainder of it.
But I remember he was very excited to do it. He was like, oh, please, yeah. So,
and
I don't feel bad about this at all.
No.
And he did a great job.
He did
a great job.
Killed it.
And
Kept the costume, right?
Yeah, he kept the costume.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
cool.
Because he would fuck in that costume a ton.
He would wear that thing because I remember it was like years after that sketch, like, and we'd been done with the show, and then like on the front page of the New York Times, it was New Year's, it was like New Year's Day or something like that, where they do the polar bear plunge. All the people in Coney Island like run into the ocean, and the front of the New York Times was a picture of the actual sex robot costume jumping into the water, like on New Year's Day. And it was like this thing, it was like, oh, Clayton had taken it to go do this polar bear plunge. So it was like nice after like 5 years, like looking in the paper that comes in the morning and being like, oh, sex robot's still out there doing his thing. He's
still getting down.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's really dangerous, right? I mean, like you're jumping into the ocean, like in a full cardboard. I mean,
Yeah. Think...
Also, it's cardboard, so that was probably the end of the sex robot.
That's the swan song for sex robot. That's how he died. Clayton is alive, right? He didn't die in the ocean, did he?
No, Clayton's alive.
No, I saw he was here a couple weeks ago because
Oh, yeah.
he was on a road trip and he stayed here.
Yeah.
He was a fan that wanted to work for the show. We're like, okay, and then he actually did the work and became like.
We were on tour in Florida after season 2, and he came up to me after the show and was like, "Hey man, I'm a drug dealer, and how are you? Nice to meet you." And I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "I'd really love to come work on your show." And I was like, "Well, we shoot it in New York, so I don't know what to tell you, man, but like." We swapped numbers, and then he like texted me. He was like, "Can I come work on your show?" I was like, "Yeah, in New York, sure." And he showed up and got the job. And actually, I think he works in television, right? Like,
no, he does. So I mean, and he's like, I started there, got interested in like set design and props and stuff, and he still does that. That's how I met his girlfriend. She works in the same kind of thing. Like he's been doing that the whole time since. Like,
I like that he was like, first of all, I'm a drug dealer, and we're like. That's not a red flag for us for hiring people.
He gave me
it wasn't that. It was like, you're in Florida. What are you talking about? The Florida was the part we had a problem with.
he gave me weed. He gave me weed. He was like, I'm going to give you this weed. I'm going to give you an eighth. But when they talk about giving me a job, you put in a good word. And I was
really?
Like, yeah. I wish when Zach was like, is he still in television? Timmy was like, no, he's a drug dealer. We probably shouldn't be talking about that.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're going to have to call him and be like, hey, we're going to say that you were a drug dealer. That's fine.
Hey, he won't give a shit.
Who cares? Everyone was a drug dealer at some point.
Yeah.